People are very busy in schools. And so a big thank you for taking the time to join us, and we are hopeful that you will get the value. And also a warm welcome to two guests who are joining from the Durham Catholic District School Board, who are also looking at hosting their own session. So welcome to the two staff from DCDSB, and we hope that you will find this is valuable and we can take the next steps in that board as well. A quick word about Ontario Schools Cricket Association. We have been supporting school cricket as a volunteer organization of accountants of all people for many, many years. But about 2 years ago, we formed Ontario Schools Cricket Association, and today we work with school boards across the province in introducing cricket in physical education classes. So that's quite apart from competitive cricket or what you see on the international level. Our focus is about the physical education class. So we will be talking more about it in a minute. But with that, I want to also share some great news that you probably don't know about. We were very happy to have Maurice Hukel joining the board of Ontario Schools Cricket Association. We know, having worked with you, that the support that you have given to the Hamilton board, that the Ontario Schools Cricket Association will be in a great place with your support. Maurice, thank you, and we are looking forward to take cricket. So we will have a bit like a special place for Hamilton Catholic School Board, and we hope that the session will go well. One word about the work that we are going to be doing in the next 40 minutes. You will see a 3 or 4 minute video that showcases, gives you an understanding of the game at the highest level. Now that is where the cricketers who play at the international level. But our team here today, our aim today is to introduce cricket in a way that as a physical education teacher, if you're running a 30-minute class with 25 to 30 kids, our focus today will be to ensure that you can keep kids busy and also at the same time learn the concepts of cricket. So you will see a big difference in what you're going to learn today versus what you will be seeing in the video, but that is the first step. So we have plans to develop videos lesson by lesson for about 7-8 lessons, and those are our next steps. For today, what we want to do is to make sure that if you are a teacher who have never heard of cricket or never seen cricket being played, this program, I think after today, you will have some level of comfort level where you can introduce cricket in the phys ed class. To do that, we have Derek Pereira, who is who was the coach for Canadian junior cricket team, as well as Ontario Cricket Academy is the largest youth academy in Ontario. So he will be a good place to show you exactly how to introduce cricket at the grassroots level. So over to you, Derek, and you can introduce the team as well.
Sure, thanks, Ronald. I have Kush Raval, who's a youth state player in India, who's now studying here in Ontario. And I have Dashi with me, who's a fitness professional in terms of coaching and competing. So as Ronald said, today what we'd like to do is introduce you to some cricket concepts. We'd like to show you basics in batting, bowling, and fielding, as well as the introduction to a game called continuous cricket, which is a modified game but helps for learning of the sport. So moving forward, I guess what we'll do is show you a film, short clip of international cricket so you can get a basic understanding, and then we'll move from there.
Cricket is a sport that is played by millions and loved by billions of people from all corners of the globe. Cricket has been played for centuries, with the first international match occurring way back in 1844. From that time, it has continued to develop into the vibrant and exciting modern game that is played today. Cricket is a bat and ball sport that involves two teams with 11 players on each side. The aim of the game is to score more runs than the opposition. One player, the bowler, bowls a hard leather ball at speeds of up to 150 kilometers per hour at a player from the opposing team, who then attempts to hit it with a bat in order to score runs. Cricket is played on an oval-shaped field, and in the middle of that field is the pitch, which is where most of the action takes place. At either end of the pitch, you'll find these things. They're called wickets, and they're made up of 3 wooden stumps that support 2 bails. They're important, but we'll come back to them shortly. The batting team has 2 batters at a time in play, whilst the fielding side has all 11 players on the field. A batter scores runs in 2 ways. 1. They hit the ball far enough that it crosses the outer boundary of the field. If the ball has bounced, it's worth 4 runs. If it clears the boundary on the full, it's worth 6, the maximum number of runs that can be scored from 1 hit. 2. Through the 2 batters running the length of the pitch in opposite directions whilst the fielders are retrieving the ball. 1 length of the pitch completed equals 1 run. The aim for the fielding side is to restrict the number of runs scored by the batting side, whilst trying to get the batter out. There are 11 different ways a batter can be out, with the most common being bowled. The bowler bowls the ball, the batter misses it or deflects it by accident, it hits the stumps, and the bails come off. Caught. The batter hits the ball, and one of the fielders catches it before it hits the ground. Leg before wicket, LBW. Exactly what the name suggests. The bowler bowls the ball, the batter misses it, and the ball hits them on the leg in line with the stumps. Run out. The batter hits the ball and runs, but the fielding team retrieve the ball and throw it to the stumps before either batter has reached the other end. When a batter's out, they leave the field of play and another teammate replaces them. Once all the batters on a team are out, the sides swap, and the fielding team then have their turn to bat and attempt to beat the overall score set by the first batting team. Put simply, the winner is the team with the most runs after both sides have batted.
Thank you. So we'll begin by introducing the basic equipment required to play cricket. Now, again, the equipment can be modified. In the past, I've even, introduction programs, we've used tennis rackets as bats. We're using tennis balls, and I've used chairs for wickets. So again, it's, completely, modifiable, and you can use literally whatever can resemble a cricket equipment. So we'll start with the cricket bat, and I'll just describe the bat because I will be referring to certain areas when we're talking about the drills. So this is the cricket bat. I refer to this as the top of the bat. This is the handle. It's got a rubber grip on it. This is the face of the bat. Now that's the flat surface, and on the back you'll see a little hump. And that's designed exactly like a hard wood cricket bat, which is used in competition. And that hump serves to provide a better hitting area. So what we would call it, like at the thickest point, would be the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is right here in the middle of the bat, and that's where we're aiming to make most of our hits. This ridge that runs right down from the handle to the bottom of the bat is called the spine, and that forms an apex. Again, forms a thicker hitting area. And of course, this bat is plastic. These are the bats that are, this equipment sets that are given to the schools. through the OSCA program. So for safety, it's a huge consideration with these hollow plastic bats. These are the wickets, and they're oft interchangeably referred to as stumps. So stumps and wickets mean the same thing. And again, outdoors, these are made out of wood. And these are plastic, they're hollow, again for safety. And this is the base, removable wickets for easy storage. So that's part of the package. And tennis ball, I believe in the package they have rubber balls with the seam, which resemble actual cricket ball. And these cones, I believe the cones are actual hitting tees, but these can be used as well. These are pretty common, you can get them pretty much anywhere. So yeah, that is the cricket equipment. And what I will now move on to is the gym setup for the game called continuous cricket, which is what we're really trying to get across today. So as you can see, there are 3 cones required for this, and a set of wickets, and then of course a cricket bat and a tennis ball. So the setup starts with a set of wickets placed at one end of the gym, and then approximately 30 to 40 feet, depending on which age group we're playing, we can take it further back or we can take it closer, is going to be a cone where the bowler will stand, or in baseball we refer to it as a pitcher. So in cricket we call it the bowler, will stand at 30 to 40 feet away. And on either side of the wickets we can see 2 yellow cones placed, approximately 20 feet distance. Again, can make it closer or further depending on the size of gymnasium you have or the size of the participants. And what we'll do is, yeah, we'll move on to the next slide. Great, so the game of continuous cricket, which we will come back to, is the players will be distributed around the gym, so they will spread out, not necessarily as close as they are placed there. So they will go right around the perimeter of the gym. So you'd have all the students standing around there. You will have a back catcher, or what we call in cricket a wicket keeper, who will stand further than that for safety reasons. These are pictures that were taken just for display purposes. And in the middle of the slide, you can see somebody underhanding the ball, and that's probably the best way to deliver the ball in this modified game. Helps for ease of making contact with it. And you can see the batter there standing in front of the wickets with the cricket bat in hand. So the batter's goal in this modified game, which we will come back to and it'll make a bit more sense later on, is to either strike it, or even if the player misses it, we'll have the display on? Yeah. So even if the player misses it, they will run to the cone and run back and be ready for the next ball. Now the fielder's goal is to get the ball back to the bowler in the middle of the gym. So that makes the fielders move with urgency and throw the ball back either underhand or overhand to the bowler, who will then proceed, as soon as they get the ball in hand, they will proceed to throw the ball, whether the batter is back or not. So that's the game of continuous cricket in a nutshell. We'll be coming back to that. What I would like to move into is some batting basics. So we can show the next slide, which will illustrate some of the batting basics. No. Okay. Yeah, all right, so, sorry, I guess we're in reverse order. So what we'll do is we'll illustrate the game of continuous cricket. And if we just pause it right there, I'll explain it. So the fielders are on either side of the wall, and they'll be spread out. We didn't have many participants here to illustrate it, but you imagine players all around the gym walls, and the person right in the middle is the bowler. The bowler has the ball in hand, and if you can see at the very back is the batter. Now the batter is trying to do one thing, as I said, is to try and make contact with the ball, as well as defending those wickets that the batter is standing in front of. So we'll roll this clip and have a look at it. So the batter hits the ball, runs to a base of their choice, could either run to the right or to the left, whichever is more comfortable. Fielders are getting the ball back, and the bowler is trying to throw the ball back and force the batter to make a swing. The bowler is trying to hit those wickets or force the batter to hit the ball in the air as in a pop fly and make a catch, at which time the batter will be out. Great. So what we'll do is we can roll the next slide, which shows a video of continuous cricket. What we'll do actually right now, we'll break. If anybody has any questions, perhaps they can put their hand up, and Milan can tell me if, or put in the chat box, and then maybe Milan can read out to me. Okay. Okay, or you can just speak to me. So if anybody has any questions, you can unmute and just introduce yourself and go ahead and ask me.
In the school sets, you know how they
Yeah.
had on top of the wickets, there was the two other little pieces. Now, in the school sets, is there anything that you do? Is there anything used in that, or that's not really part of the school because the skill level needs to be?
Yeah, that's a great question. So those two little pieces on top of the wickets are called bails. Now, the bails in real cricket, what they do is you have to hit you have to make contact with the. So now there's some feedback. Yeah, so in real cricket, we would have the bails, which would have to be dislodged. But in school cricket, we don't really, I mean, they're part of the packages, but we don't need to use them. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks. I guess it just has more to do with the skill level, and that the grassroots is not that essential at this point, right? So.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now to move forward with this, so each time the player hits the ball and runs back, we count that as a point. To get everybody included, another modified version of this is for the batter to make contact or miss, drop the bat and run, and then the fielders will cycle around. I find this is really exciting. It's more of an activity than it is actual competition, but it helps to get everybody involved. So that's another modified version of that. We do have a Qriket Manual, which helps to illustrate and explain in more detail about the continuous cricket game. And excuse me, Ranil Mendes can forward that, I guess, for distribution. And that would really help in understanding.
I can put that link into the chat box.
Thanks, Ranil. Okay, so moving on, I believe we'll now move into the basic batting technique. Okay, so we're beginning with the grip here, and yeah, so what we can see from the illustration is the V formed between your thumb and your index finger. So if I was to just illustrate to you or show you display, we're forming two V's. Now, I'm a right-handed batter, so my bottom hand would be my right hand, and my top hand, which would be placed at the top of the handle, as I explained before, the top of the handle. So I would form a V with my thumb and index finger and place it in line with the spine of the bat. Now, we don't have to get too technical when we're introducing the sport, but this is mainly for your knowledge, and if you're playing with players who have previously experienced cricket or know a bit about it, this is pretty helpful. So we're forming a V with my bottom hand. So the two V's will run down the spine of the bat, and this gives me the ability now to hit the ball in all directions, because as you probably noticed in the video, the hitting area is 360 in cricket. So I can hit in front, I can hit behind me, I can hit anywhere really, 360. So this grip helps me to swing freely, and of course generate power, which is an important part of batting. We'll now move into the batting stance. So the player here is in a side-on position. So that's an important concept in batting. We'll start with the bottom, the foot position, shoulder width apart, and fairly relaxed knees, moving up with the head balanced, eyes level, and the shoulder pointing to the bowler. Now we'll talk about the bat pickup, which the bat starts on the ground, and again, we don't need to get this technical when we're introducing it, but the bat starts at the bottom and then goes to a pickup position and a ready hitting position at the third picture, where the bat is directly up in the air and ready for the swing. So I'll have Kush come over here and demonstrate for us. So Kush is a right-hander. Great. Kush will stand in front of these wickets, not covering them, but he'll stand in front of them because of the simple fact that the bowler is trying to hit these. So Kush, with his bat, will try to swing and block the ball from hitting the wicket, as well as affecting runs. So we'll look at Kush's stance, batting stance, from the front. That's how it would look. Shoulders facing to the bowler, that's perfect. Feet evenly balanced. And now we'll show you from the side. Pretty tall guy, we're struggling to keep him in the frame here. So evenly balanced, knees slightly bent. We'll start from down here and we'll go up into a swinging position there, and now he's ready to hit. Now the basic move for cricket, which is the next step, is to step forward to the ball majority of times. So the ball will be landing. We'll talk about the difference between baseball and cricket after, where the ball, if we can see it, is right here. And he will step to the ball and swing through. That's the basic cricket hit. Now that we know a bit about the batting technique or batting stance or setup, we're going to move into a drill. And perhaps we can roll a clip of that, and then we'll demonstrate it live. Yep.
Could you ask Maria to unmute and ask a question? Maria has a question.
Okay, sorry. So before we do that, Maria, if you can unmute and go ahead and ask a question, that would be great.
Hi there. I just put it in the chat. I'm just looking. Is the goal in the continuous? I know you're going to talk a little more about it. When you're batting, is it just to make contact with the ball and allow one run? Because I picture my students kind of like swinging for the fences and the ball bouncing off 3 or 4 walls. Like, is it less is more, or are you? Can you try and just kind of give it a good ride?
Oh yeah, they could. So it's completely up to the player. Some players like to just tap it and run, almost like a bunt. But majority of players, I'd say, want to smash it and like hit it as far as they can, which is really, it's encouraged, because I think that's part of the enjoyment. But however they like to make a run is fine. If they don't feel like power hitting is their game, they like to just tip and run, that's fine as well. And just another thing, I think when we're the older kids, they could probably manage a tennis ball. However, I've used bigger balls, like Nerf balls almost, the soft sponge ones. It increases the player's confidence in making contact. Sometimes they might find it hard to hit the small tennis ball, but the bigger Nerf balls also help, and allowing them to hit it as hard as they'd like. But yeah, great question. And again, I think they can hit it any way they want, and majority of them would like to smash it, I think.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, so we'll go into, do we have the batting clip ready? Okay, perfect. Okay, what we'll do is we'll show the setup for the batting drill. All you're gonna need for this is a bat and 3 cones and a ball. And the basic idea is that we're gonna hit stationary, in a stationary position. And this helps the player to gain confidence and understand the swing from up to down. And in the setup, as I said, all we need is 2 cones, three cones and a ball. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna have this set up here. So what we'll have is we can have multiple groups doing this at the same time. And the players will line up here where Dashi's lined up, right in the middle. So you can imagine if we had a group of 10, say. So we suppose in a classroom of 30, we have 3 groups of 10. So imagine Dashi plus 8 players, and then the batter on that side. Now the batter is going to just simply place the ball on the cone. Place the ball on the cone. Get into a batting position. And they just want to hit the ball through the cone. And we have our fielder Dashi. If we can zoom up, perfect, yeah. We have our fielder Dashi standing right in the middle. Perfect, yeah. Oh, you know what, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, I get the camera. Okay, so, and the player will try to hit it through the goal. The fielder fields it, runs down there. The batter will run here. Yeah. Drop the bat. Yeah. Great. And then they will form the other part of the line. So we'll keep this rotation going. Again, Dashi will try to hit the ball through the cones. Try and get it perfect. Drop the bat, and that rotation will continue. Quite simple. It's a very simple drill. However, this helps to teach understanding of batting, and it's the most basic shot in cricket. This drill can be modified. We can have the player at the top of the line, and we'll remove that cone. Okay. Good. Now the player can underhand the ball to the batter, and the batter will try and hit it through these cones again. Very good. Okay, so that's underhand. Continue. Show us another one. Perfect. Great. Now we can widen the goal, especially for players that are beginning, or we can add on other cones and give numbers like points. If you get it between this target here will give you 2 points. If it goes to another target over there, we'll give you 1 point. And you can just set up targets around the gym, really. It's a good group activity, keeps people rotating, keeps everybody involved. The next sort of modification to this or development is that we can go overhand. Again, trying to bounce it 1 time before the batter. And Dashi's demonstrating the cricket bowling technique as well. So, do we have any questions on this batting drill? Okay, if not, then what we can do is we can move on to the next part of our presentation, which is about bowling. One of the ways I like to explain it is that we can think of bowling like a windmill. So as you can see, we have a windmill with a face and 2 hands. So the hands, you see one has a ball in it, which is the pink ball there. And as that front arm goes down, the other arm goes up. So you could just imagine this as the basic bowling action. Another way to look at it is like a seesaw. When one hand goes down, the other one comes up and over. Now the difference in cricket versus baseball pitching is that number 1, it's done with a straight arm. So Dash, you can come up here and just demonstrate what you're showing us from the side. I think is best to demonstrate this. Yep, good. And just the arm comes straight up. So we'll just pause you at the top. Stop. So at point of delivery, that's how the arm should look. Again, it's a concept that we don't necessarily need to do in the continuous cricket, but it is part of the game. And as players get better, this is a great thing to teach. So again, what will show one arm up. And as that arm comes down, the front arm comes down, the bowling arm comes up, and she would release at the highest point. Show it one more time. Great. Now, from the front view, she was bowling to the batter over there, sideways. So again, she's going to get into a sideways position. There we go. All right. So coming back to it, the main differences between pitching and bowling in cricket. Bowling, we bowl with the straight arm. We don't bend our arm on the release. Then as well, pitchers in baseball are at the mound, they're standing, and then they deliver. In cricket, there's a run up and then into the bowling action. So Kush, you can probably demonstrate from down there, run up and bowl. One more? Yes. You don't have to run that far, that's it. Good. And as you can see, we're trying to get as high as possible with our arm. So almost at 12 o'clock, if we were to say on the face of a clock. So there's a simple drill that we can do. Do we have a video of that? Yeah. John has a question. Oh, sorry, John. Yep.
So I just had a quick question. Is there a specific rule that you can't bend the arm, or is just that a technique that cricket bowlers have? Or is there like a specific rule that you couldn't throw like a baseball pitch?
Yeah, it is a rule. So as a bowler, when you're bowling to the batter, you must have a straight arm. Otherwise, you're called for a penalty. And if a player is found to be doing that over and over, they can be removed from the game, and in the international game, they can be banned. So it's a pretty serious rule, right? And but fielders, the outfielders, they're allowed to throw as a regular throw. So only when you're bowling you have to have the straight arm, but when you're out in the field you can throw as you would.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, great. If we have a video, we can run it. So here we go. Players pair up. All we need is a ball for the pair. They're standing, arms stretched out, one arm down, one arm up, just like the windmill. And as that front arm comes down, the bowling arm comes up. We have a smaller area here, but you can ask the players to bounce the ball a few feet in front of the other batter. The other fielder, the other bowler. And that's sort of the technique in cricket. Now, the other difference that I wanted to get to between baseball and cricket is that the pitcher pitches on the full and trying to hit the strike zone. In cricket, the ball should bounce. It's not a rule, but for the majority of time, the ball does bounce because we want to use the surface, the variability of the surface, and the ball will bounce, and the trajectory should be to bounce it so that it can hit these wickets. So the batter would miss the ball and the ball hits the wickets. So that's another major difference. The ball, it doesn't have to. I mean, you can throw it full if you want, but your chances of getting hit are more. If you bounce it, it becomes more difficult to hit. So we just saw that drill. I believe there's another drill that we can show you. So here we have a goal area set up with 2 cones. And the idea is that the player bowls it through that. So similar to the batting drill, except we're bowling. So as the bowler bowls, hit or miss, we continue the cycle rather, and they just switch positions. So there we go, bowl. The player will now become the back catcher. Another one comes up. So you imagine you can do this in 2 or 3 groups. I think 3 groups for a class size is pretty decent. So we can do this live, perhaps, so we can just show the setup. Okay, so Dashimi, do you want to keep down there?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we'll grab 2 cones. Get another cone. So here's our goal area. So what we can say, make it interesting, we can say, okay, group A, B, and C, we have 10 minutes. Let's see, if you get it through the cones, you get 1 point. If you hit the wickets, you get 2. Okay? Let's go. Good. That's 1 point. You imagine it's a long line here. So it keeps them moving, and keeps the interest with a little bit of competition. Great stuff. Okay, thanks. So that's a bowling drill, which is very useful. I mean, we use it with national team players, something similar to this, and it helps you to hone in on your target area, which is the wickets. So do we have any further questions on the bowling that I can help with?
Hi there, what's the distance that they bowl from? Does it depend on
Okay,
age?
so-
Because they do the run up, but where do they need to release by?
That's a great question. So, okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you in real cricket, or let's say international cricket, not real cricket, but they're bowling from 22 yards. So you can have one set of wickets placed where the bowler is going to bowl from, and one where the batter is that we saw earlier, and that would be 22 yards apart. The bowler has in a box, which is a crease marked on the floor, on the pitch, on the ground, which is about 4 feet approximately from the wickets. So if I was to show you the wickets here, I'll show you on the side, maybe I can illustrate it better from back here. Yep. There would be a crease box marked out here, 4 feet by about 6 feet wide. Now, if the player goes past it and delivers the ball in real cricket, that's called a no ball. It's a penalty run awarded to the batting team. So I hope I was able to answer it. Now, when we're talking about younger age groups, of course, definitely we'll make the pitch shorter so that when the players are playing, they can be comfortable to get the ball to the other side. Did that help?
Yeah, it did.
right.
Sorry, my thing was still muted. Yeah, thank
No problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, great. I think if we're good with bowling, we can now move on. Okay, perfect. We'll just pause it right there. So here we're talking about, now we're moving into fielding. What we will do is we'll show a few drills for fielding. One is the simple activity where we have players paired up again, spread out through a distance which is comfortable for them. In this particular activity, which is ideal, I'd say they're about 15 to 20 feet away from each other. And it's just getting into an athletic position, knees bent, head forward because we're working on ground fielding, and they're just gonna roll the ball back and forth to each other. And what we do is we can have one ball where we'll show Kush and Dashi at it. I'll just stand over here. So we have one ball right now, and they're gonna go back and forth. So beginners, one ball, fingers pointing down on pickup. And they'll continue to do that. And then to make it more interesting, we can add in a second ball. Sorry, one second. And there we go. This helps with hand-eye coordination. Just adds another dimension to it, to this activity. Okay, from here, what we'll do is we'll just have one ball again. Okay, good. All right. From here, what we'll do is we'll move to the next level, which will be a waist-height catch. Now, in cricket, there's two ways to catch what we can introduce, and I think this is handy for any age group to understand. One is that from your waist or chest down, we're gonna have fingers pointing down when we catch, like that. Now, when it comes above your chest height, chest and up, we're gonna go fingers pointing up. And as you can see there, the back of my hand, it's almost like a diamond I'm forming. It's a safety net, and we wanna ensure that when we're catching like this, we're not catching in front of our face and blocking our vision. Try and catch beside. Fingers pointing up. So we'll do same position. We'll do low catching, fingers pointing down. Good. So that's one activity. And then what we'll do is progress to fingers up catching. So above the shoulder, perfect, yeah. Right above his shoulder, perfect. Great, that's it. So a competitive angle would be a certain amount of catches in a certain time period, or we can have a contest in a minute or two who can get the most catches. And we can also reintroduce the concept of two balls catching. Once we feel comfortable and we feel like the skill set is there, we can go crossovers. Again, helps with coordination, reaction time. Great. And I think we have another video that we can show another fielding drill. Great. So another one where if we just pause it, I can say setup. Okay, so we have two groups here. We have all we need on one end where the students are standing is a cone, so that they know where their start point is, and then we can have a wicket in front of the back catcher. Now here we have it where the coach is standing there and being the back catcher. What we can do is as we have done in the bowling relay, where we can have the back catcher throwing the ball back and running to the back of the line, and then the person who just threw it would become the new back catcher. So we'll just have a look at that. And then we'll demonstrate. Okay, great. So we can demonstrate this here, where you can stand there. So now again, because you're going to be the wicketkeeper as you get it, you roll it back to the next person in line.
Just underhand?
Underhanded, yeah. So underhand and run. Yeah. And then the next person would be here. Great. And then we can change this to overhand throws. Because in cricket, another way to get the player out is if when they're attempting a run, you can throw the ball and hit the wicket. And if the person hasn't made that boxed area of 4 feet that I spoke about, so sort of their base, if they haven't made it in time to the base and the ball hits that wicket, they can be out. So let's throw it overhand and try and hit those wickets. Good job, Brent. Again, this is not bowling, but this is for fielding. Good. So yeah. So that's another fielding drill, and I believe we have another one. And I think fielding is an important part of the game, and it helps to get everybody active and involved. I believe you have one more. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. This is a fun activity where we have 4 cones set up. We have a certain time, a goal area, and they're just trying to throw it through those 2 wickets down there. And so we can mark them on amount of times they get it through the 2 cones, or the time they finished, different ways that we can modify it to suit the audience and to get everybody involved. Do we have another slide prepared, or? Good. Okay, so if we want to come back to, can we come back to the continuous cricket one at the beginning? The very first slide that you had. Video, sorry. Okay, so Ronald just told me that there's a survey link in the chat. If you can kindly respond to that, that would be great. So we'll try and roll the continuous cricket. As I said, I would like to come back to that at the end of the presentation. Okay, there we go. So we have, again, the teacher who's going to be acting as the bowler or the pitcher, students all around the gym. Now, another way to modify this so that everybody gets a turn is that if a player doesn't get out before 4 balls, they will have to retire. So that's a second ball, third hit. The batter's really good, making contact, defending the wickets, not unable to get him out. So what we can say then is that, okay, after 4 balls, you retire, you've reached your goal of 4 balls. Another way to do this in bigger gyms I've seen see they're running one. One means from the place where they hit it to the cone and back is one run, but I've seen in bigger gyms where, you know, they hit it further and they're able to do 3 and 4 runs back and forth. So that's also a consideration when we're playing in a bigger area, that they will get more runs than that. We're in a smaller facility here, so 1 run is pretty much the average per hit. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. If anybody has any questions that we can help with, I'd be glad to answer them as best I can.
Does a player have an option? Do they have, what happens if they just let the pitcher, the ball go by?
Okay, so in the continuous cricket game, that's a great question. I don't think I addressed that. So in the continuous cricket game, if the batter swings and misses, they must still run, because the whole idea is that every ball, they have to continually run. So in real cricket though, however, if you miss the ball, you don't have to take any action. So, or if the fielder misses it, you miss it, the back catcher or the wicket keeper misses it, and it goes down the field, you can make a run there. So I hope that answered your question about the continuous cricket. We really want them to run every ball, and the whole idea is that the bowler gets the ball back in their hand and tries to affect a wicket by hitting the stumps as soon as, to throw it as soon as they can.
But like in the international game, you know how it's, I mean, in baseball, they don't have to swing, it's a ball, right? But in terms of in cricket, you have to swing at every pitch. In international?
No, yeah, no, you do not have to. It's beneficial to make contact and get runs, but you definitely don't have to run. If I even in cricket, there's something called leaving the ball. Do we have a bat? Thanks, got it. Yeah, so there's a play called leaving the ball. So I'm in my batting position and I feel like the ball's out of my reach, or it's not a preferred hitting area for me, I could just leave it and I don't have to run or do anything at that point. So to answer your question, in international cricket, yes, you can certainly miss and take no action after that. Again, it's more beneficial to make contact, hit the ball, and get a run for your team.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if we don't have any further questions, I'd like to call upon Randall.
All right, so I think at this time I would maybe bring John back on. Maybe if you have any closing remarks, but I just want to add something that we have been working for the longest time. We still haven't been able to finish. Everything that Derek demonstrated here, including the drills, continuous cricket, there is a lesson plan that we are developing that the teachers will have with them, sort of about 10 minutes focusing on one drill. So if you didn't quite get what we were talking about within that short period of time, these lessons plans that we will have ready hopefully by March will equip you with that additional tool for you to really demonstrate in class. So that way you can really focus on any areas that we missed. Another way of teaching that we just recently started with Niagara District School Board, and there's one coming up in Toronto Catholic District School Board, is where a bunch of kids will be in the gym with a big screen, and Derek will be joining them live, so that instead of you sitting in your offices now watching this, in this new way of teaching, we were going straight into the gym class where the teachers can work with the students while getting instructions online with Derek. So those are the newer way of doing things that hopefully we will develop. So when you are into that stage, once the equipment is delivered within the Catholic Hamilton Wentworth Catholic School Board, that programs will come in place in March, and we can take the next steps. Over to you, John.
Thanks, Ranil, and thanks to the team for the great demonstration, and a special thanks to all of you who showed up today. I think it's unbelievable that we were able to get so many of you. And you can see from the chat, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of rivalry already happening between some staff members. And I think that's fantastic. It really adds to the excitement. We know that we're participating in the Healthy School certification, the OFIA Healthy School certification. So cricket is just a great opportunity of introducing a diverse sport to students that maybe have never played it. And yet it's the second most popular game in the world in terms of people playing it. So it's a great opportunity. And you saw that Morris committed to purchasing more bats and especially balls, because it would be great not just to have one, but to have many so that you can get continuous participation. So we're going to hold them to that for sure. And I'm here to support you. Renil, again, you're just a wonderful supporter of everything that we do in the Hamilton board. It's too bad we don't get to see you live in person, but you guys have this down to a fine art. It really does not feel like it feels like we're participating with you. So again, on behalf of our board, on behalf of all of our staff and those that attended and those members of the CYO, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for us. And we'll definitely be in touch. I didn't see the link for the survey. You may have put it on there. It's important. If we don't get it, I can certainly send it to the staff members, and because you want some real positive feedback from this for sure. So Renil, thank you.
I did put it in the chat box, but you want
Great.
Melon? We will do it right now.
Excellent.
All right.
We'll
Thank you
get
very
that
much
for you.
again.
And thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.